Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
Oh, I wanted to let you guys know, we have a subreddit, r/INS pod. The moderator made a poll. It says, in the coming tribulations, humanity's last/best hope will be blank, who rides out of the wastelands. And the options were Soundbather, Quantum Magician, or Closed Off Kevin. And the winner was a tie between Soundbather and Closed Off Kevin. Sorry, Brian.
Well, that's bullshit. No, it's because people were goofing around, right? I mean, it's a poll; they're having fun.
Yeah, the internet's.
If anyone was really wanting to protect themselves from the tribulations, which of course referring to a period of time in between the rapture and the second coming and the eventual
the tribulations, which come right after the trials.
Yes,
that's well-established fact. You're going to want a quantum magician, though. That's what I'm getting at. You're going to want someone who really is. Look, I mean, I shouldn't say you guys. I know Mike's aware of this, but Kevin, are you on a ley line right now? Do you know?
Right, no. Those are in things, England, so I'm not. You could draw a line that passed through this house,
cross the entire.
So you think ley lines only exist in England? That is. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
just saying you could draw a line between any two things, and that's just a line.
That's a good start, though, to identify where probable ley line sites. You find ancient sites of power, right? The pyramids, Nazca,
7-Eleven,
Stole, Kansas.
I'm on a ley line between Oklahoma and Dallas.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, there are some highways that.
Well, right. I mean.
That do follow ley lines because people naturally are attracted to those.
You get pulled to it. You get pulled to that energy. Yeah.
I mean, is this the right time to point out? So for the listener, you have to look this up. But if the Dallas-Fort Worth highway system were a ley line, it looks like a tiny penis going into a massive vagina.
Does it?
Yeah. Hold on.
For the listener, we are humoring Kevin's strange road fetish.
Weird. That's a very Freudian
that we've just discovered, right?
Sex kind of.
Here, thing. I found an article called "Phallus, Texas,"
authored by Kevin Harrison.
No, I think this is actually by friend of the podcast, Pete Friedman.
Oh,
well, there's
Phallus,
something.
Texas. Okay.
Here's the small penis that is the Dallas-Fort Worth highway system. It's got the balls and everything.
Oh.
Dallas is the balls, and Fort Worth is the head, and then the shaft is the highways connecting them.
Yeah, 820 really kind of makes it the head, or 620, is it?
No, it's 820 at Fort Worth.
But if you look at this is the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a giant vagina with a tiny penis going into it.
Yeah, it does look vaginal.
I'll post this in the episode notes if I remember.
Prepare to have your day made, listener, when you look at this.
This is making.
You don't want to look at this at work. This is what they call NSFW.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like to bring back last episode. This is looking like the graphics of Custer's Revenge.
Only because we were told that's what that is. You scroll down. There's some images we didn't see. We saw a Union Tower with.
I don't know what this one
ornaments.
is. What is this? Chase Tower. Oh, I see. Chase Tower kind of looks a little like a dick, I guess. And then you had the hand of the Texas Ranger statue at Dallas Love Field.
Love Field.
He's standing and he's got his hand at like waist level, and he's kind of angled. It's angled in front of him, and as a result, it kind of looks like he's a little excited about something.
One Ranger statue.
Looks like he's a shower and not a grower, you might say.
Yeah, looks like he's a big old hog.
And hog for the listener, Michael,
That means penis, Brian.
Oh,
That's
okay.
and that's a colloquial term referring to penis. Hog, sometimes called a crank, as in look at the crank he's working with, which is to say, look at the large, flaccid or turgid penis on that gentleman.
Turgid.
Gentleman
is turgid the right descriptor for a penis?
Well, you can describe, Kevin, penises in a lot of ways.
Name 14.
Throbbing.
1.
Gigantic.
2.
Okay.
Flaccid.
Oh,
3.
that's a good one, yeah.
Limp.
4.
Veiny.
5.
Rigid.
6.
Okay.
Rock hard.
7.
Also abs.
Raging.
8.
Bulbous.
9.
Ooh.
Purple.
10.
A warrior. You're like a purple warrior.
I'm going to give you 11. Those are 2 different things.
All
Fleshlight.
12.
Well, that's not
Fleshlight.
really penis. Oh, flesh. Okay, like.
Yeah.
Staff.
13. One more, Mike.
I don't think you can
Wiggle
do it.
snake.
Damn it.
Wiggle snake.
Damn it. Can't believe retiring from the show now.
Yeah, I'm not to be tested.
This was a good episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yep.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I'm Brian Camp.
I am Wiggle Snake Mama, Mike Wiebe. I got a Wiggle Snake Mama. Believe that's a Reverend Horton Heat.
Reverend Horton.
Oh,
I always thought it was Wiggle Stick.
Well, and that's another colloquial thing there, Brian.
Okay.
There's some sections of the country that will say Wiggle Stick. Some people will say Wiggle Snake.
Oh.
I get it.
What does the Reverend
I
say?
get it.
What does the Reverend say? Anything he goddamn wants.
Fair enough.
You talked about that tour before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah, it was great.
You said all those guys were really great.
Oh, I love it. It was so fun. And it was fun to play with. That was a band when we were coming up that was from Texas that was kind of making it big. They were on MTV, Beavis and Butthead. I was always a fan of them.
They are so much better than all the other versions of bands trying to do that same thing.
Totally.
They're one of those, right? I think that was your point.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to say they got to be the best like rock and roll end of rockabilly band out there that I can think of. But I'm not a connoisseur of the genre.
I'm not either. Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of other rockabilly bands, and none of them I like. There's probably some like real purist version of it that's some guy that's like 90 that I don't know about. That's probably maybe considered by some people to be better. Maybe but I think Reverend Horton Heat they're the ones that like do the most.
Yeah.
In different genres.
So our first story comes to us from KDVR, Fox Channel 2 in Denver.
Ah, the super ones.
Cadaver.
No,
Yeah.
K Denver.
No, Cadaver.
Yeah, but they call it Cadaver.
Cadaver, Fox Channel 2
Their
in
mascot
Denver.
is a crypt keeper.
Oh, wow. That'd be a good channel. So Google Earth has been used for many things, including getting directions, flight simulators, causing international incidents, and now it's being used for something new, a Bigfoot sighting.
What?
Last month, someone on Reddit posted coordinates on recently captured satellite imagery over Colorado that shows an approximately 7 foot, 5 inch, or 2.26 meters dark bipedal figure walking in a northwest direction. Also, the figure doesn't appear in any previous Google Earth imaging of the area. In addition to Bigfoot, there has been some speculation that the photos show a bear or a hiker without any gear, but many experts also seem to agree that it's a large puddle that has been absent in past satellite images of the area. But we won't truly know until someone, maybe Michael, travels to the coordinates in Colorado in search of Bigfoot.
I got a quick question.
Yes.
It would probably be illegal, right, to show a nude person on Google Earth, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't be illegal.
Google Earth would certainly take down anything depicting.
They would take down a photo if there was.
They probably would censor it. They'd probably put like a mosaic over it.
I'm just saying, like, if there was a scenario where they did catch another Bigfoot and it was holding up a person, and the person was nude.
Oh, I see.
and there was a bunch of. They would at least blur the person out, right?
Well, they might blur out the genitals and maybe the face.
Well, would they blur out if you had a tattoo? If you had a tattoo, would they blur out the tattoo too? If you had a couple tattoos on you?
And I don't think they'd blur out the pointing and laughing either.
I think we're getting a good explanation of why so many Bigfoot photos are difficult to see, because there's pixelation we don't realize that perhaps is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just wondering, legally, could just a hypothetical person, let's just say me, could
just theoretically,
like, put forth some sort of injunction with Google Earth to make sure that wouldn't happen, that they wouldn't like leak, that I could sue if they were to leak a photo of, I don't know, just say me with my bare bottom hanging out and my naked spindly legs flailing.
Right, they are pretty spindly.
And as a Bigfoot held me by both wrists with one hand,
right,
and pointed its giant Bigfoot fingers at my genitals, laughing while other farm creatures from nearby farms and woodland creatures stood around laughing while I flail with my cold bare buttocks touching the mountain air, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, because I wouldn't want that. I know it's a crazy thing, but I wouldn't want anyone to see that. I think that it should be illegal to put that up without anyone's permission.
Well, let me ask you something. What if one of the woodland creatures, maybe say Bambi's there, and Bambi's got a camera phone and takes a picture, just because you're out in the public.
Not real. They don't have camera phones. The animals don't have camera phones. They can laugh.
Okay, they got
and they can point
camera.
with their paws and hooves, but they can't actually take photographs. Right.
Let me ask you a different question. Are you in public?
No, I'm in the mountains where Bigfoot lives. The only way anyone's going to take a photo would be a Google Earth type situation. None of these creatures have technology around them. I mean, possibly a raccoon could, but I don't see that. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
The raccoon wouldn't be able to figure out how to upload it at best.
Right. I don't think that you have any intellectual property in your humiliation that's done in public, unless they used it in their advertising. Like maybe Google creates an advertising blitz that's a bunch of first it's the animals pointing and laughing at your small genitals, and then as a result they say
small. It wouldn't be small. It'd be small to like a fucking Bigfoot, because they're a fucking giant beast with giant, fucking. I'm sure that it's always the females that do this too, by the way. But and certainly a human genitals compared to Bigfoot genitals, of course they're going to be smaller.
Sure,
it's just the fucking way that elephants have giant dicks. Fucking horses have giant. They're also way bigger and they weigh more.
Right.
Ants have smaller dicks than people.
Maybe that's why it's called.
I'm not picking up ants and laughing at them. I'm not a fucking psychopath.
It's like the idea that you're like, and then set it down.
I think the question is whether or not, I mean, if this is a quasi consensual act, like if it
wouldn't be consensual. There would be nothing that the person could do about it. It would just say it was me. There'd be nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But my leg, I would be kicking my legs all around. They would just be flailing out there in the cold mountain air, which isn't helping anything either. If you know what I mean.
Right. But yeah, I think if they use it in advertising, you could take that. Like if it was like Google Earth found this Bigfoot.
What product would you add? That nobody's going to advertise that. Why would they?
Well, what if Google's pointing out how memes are created?
What product could you advertise with that?
Well, you're advertising Google. Like, so the world comes together on Google and everybody points and laughs at the guy that the animals are pointing and laughing at. Then they might be
okay, you know what? You fucking keep your day job, Don Draper. All right? That's never going to be an ad. I just don't want I just don't want that photo getting out. If that were to ever happen, I just think it should be illegal. And I think can't we get some laws in place ahead of time?
Oh, you want to
make sure
people.
That doesn't happen?
You're not a fan.
No, I don't. But I don't
First
think
Amendment.
that anybody should accidentally show up nude on Google Earth.
Right. Well, it's almost like a revenge porn situation. I think if they were to profit off of
that usually is done by one of the
That's what
parties.
it is. That's what it would be.
I feel like revenge porn is one of the parties involved.
Google's filming it, so they're party
Google,
to it, right?
The company is filming it.
Yeah. They're looking for it. Maybe this is just a lure to get you out there.
I'm just saying, Google, if that were to happen, Google, you'd have a serious lawsuit on your hands.
Damn.
A serious lawsuit.
Mike's a celestial lawyer.
Yeah, they don't want to go to celestial courts.
You're looking at a lawsuit.
In space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not only physical, but yeah, I would definitely, because that is, they probably are transdimensional beings. And so the lawsuit, I would take it here. And I would take it to, wherever they're from, heaven or whatever.
Are Bigfoot or Google?
Bigfoot.
They're not.
They might be angels.
Okay.
I'm suing everybody.
So our next story comes to us from Sora News 24, a Japanese news site.
Oh, so they brought us our J.R. West story, I think.
I think they did.
Wait, George Soros News?
All over Japan.
Sora News 24.
Soros News?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, close to
this guy, I'm so sick of this guy. This guy's ruining my life.
How's he doing that?
He pays everybody to go protest everywhere.
Wow.
There's not been one legitimate protest in the United States since like 1960 something.
I think that probably checks out.
George Soros has been paying, he just pays everyone to go out there. He hand draws most of those signs himself.
He sounds like a busy guy.
Yeah, well, he's rich. He has built robots to make the signs.
He's built signs.
A lot of those signs are AI now. A lot of those signs are AI. He created AI in order to make up signs and make sign makers out of fucking business.
So back in episode 53, we talked about a fish that researchers taught to drive a small motorized tank.
Oh God. This is such bullshit.
Now, fish in Japan have taken their species' newfound autonomy to a new level. Specifically, they have committed wire fraud against their owner. So this next part gets complicated, and probably just it alone deserved a story on INS. But we have to go through the complications to get to what actually happened. So basically, the owner placed a grid behind an aquarium, with each section of the grid corresponding to something you would press on a Nintendo Switch controller. For example, left, right, or A or B. He set up a camera that visually monitored each section of the grid, and then he used software to select the action the fish swam across on a Switch controller. The owner then left the fish to play 2022's Pokémon Scarlet and Violet over YouTube. Apparently, this isn't a unique thing. A different team of fish completed the game Pokémon Sapphire 2 years ago using the same method. Unfortunately, this method also allows the fish to use the Switch controller for non-gameplay functions. So what happened is that the game crashed, the fish confirmed the error message, so the Switch jumped back to the home screen, and the fish continued using the controller. First, the fish changed the owner's nickname in the system. Then, the fish entered the Nintendo eShop, where the owner had his credit card saved. The fish added 500 yen, or about $3.90, to the owner's account balance. Then, the fish logged into the owner's Switch Online account, which earned them login points, and then they spent those login points on a cosmetic upgrade to use with Nintendo Switch Sports. The fish then put this Switch into sleep mode, which finally ended their crime wave for now.
No, they didn't.
They didn't do any of this. The fish swam.
They didn't do any of that.
I'm so angry at you that you kept giving the fish some sort of volitional intent.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to spend, I don't know how much it costs, probably $2,500 to get a round trip flight to Japan.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to this place.
It's just some guy's home.
I'm like, oh, easier. It's easier than I'm going to go to his home and I'm going to kick in the door and I'm going to walk into the room and I'm going to grab this fish.
No, it's an aquarium full of fish.
Oh, well, I'll just do each one of them then, one by one. And I'm going to throw them as hard as I can at the wall.
That doesn't sound very nice.
One at a time.
One at a time.
And I'm going to make him watch.
They're never going to complete
I'm going
Pokemon.
to throw them one at a time at the wall. I mean, I'm talking, listen, I am talking fucking Nolan Ryan at his prime. I'm talking pitching fucking heat, just heat. And the wall is going to be like seriously, like a foot or two away. Like if I were to step 2 more feet, I would be able to touch the wall, but I'm going to step 2 feet back from the wall and I'm going to rear up full on, hands behind my head, just bam, just fastball fish after fastball fish hitting that wall. Or wait, I don't know. Hold on. I need to actually, this is what I need to know first.
Okay.
What is the best distance for me to stand that the fish will be the maximum speed before it hits the wall?
Well, so I think it's important to note here that I know for a fact you don't know how to throw a baseball, so it doesn't matter.
I can throw a baseball. I'll go to fucking training. I'll go to spring training. I'm gonna start working out.
The problem is, Kevin, and is that if Mike does all this, according to your theory of the world, the fish caused it all to happen by swimming around. The fish then caused Michael to get on an airplane and then caused Michael to get off the plane and go, this is the fisher. This is just a long suicide pact by the fish. And it's probably a bunch of fucking grommies.
Or it's their path to immortality. I think they were some kind of tetra.
These aren't triggers.
Did this guy pay for this himself, or did some university shell out?
No, he paid for it himself.
Taxpayer money.
I think he was making money off YouTube, actually.
I'm going to throw these fish so goddamn hard that about half of them, when they hit the wall, they're just going to stick there for a couple seconds before they slide down.
Oh, man, yeah. I think friend of the show, Ben Johnson, may not be liking the fish murder talk.
I think a few of our listeners. There you go. You see the fish swimming across the control thing and the...
They're not fucking...
I don't like to assign like a lot of meaning to events like this as being any kind of harbinger of the demise of all of society, but this being popular has me concerned about just the world that we live in.
I mean, seriously, if you believe that the fish had any intention in doing this,
I don't think anybody believes that.
Then it is not a leap to believe that they intentionally did this to get me to come over there and fling them at the wall, and knowing it would piss me off.
Could you prove that this was not a huge ruse just to piss you off?
If you believe that they did this, that they logged in and out of things on purpose or had any idea of what they were doing, then yes, I will go so far as to believe they did this to piss me off.
I believe it.
In summation, fuck fish.
Hey, that's what are you quoting? Adaptation, the movie Adaptation.
Is that line from Adaptation?
Yeah. What's that guy's name? He won an Oscar for that. He was just obsessed with fish, and then he's like, and then one day I woke up and I'm like, fuck fish, and then he gets into orchids.
Oh yeah, Chris Cooper.
Good actor.
Is that a good movie?
Yeah, it's very good.
I don't know if it holds up or not.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's a strong recommendation for Mike. Are you guys watching that Last of Us show?
I haven't watched it yet, but my girlfriend started watching it.
It is a very good video game. Maybe one of the best video games I've ever played.
Oh wow.
It's on. They're going to have it for PC really soon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, probably the exclusivity has to be over by now, I would think.
Right. Well, I think they've done a good job surprisingly good job of not like. I'm not sure the Walking Dead and everybody liked it. It was entertaining when it came out, but man, all the characters were really annoying. I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, there was a lot of, and in this, I feel like they're more interesting than annoying, and more like, oh yeah, that's what people would be like in this world. So.
Yeah, it's a really good game. It fucking goes hard too.
Yeah.
But they've already made a bunch of differences in the show, so we'll see how close it sticks. But
I haven't no spoilers, Michael.
Well, they did a weird thing with the show. That thing where they're all connected to the ground is not in the game, but it's an interesting idea. I thought that's kind of cool.
It's a real clever idea. Yeah, that is neat.
Anyway, continue, Kevin.
So this next story is about a massive animal wreaking havoc in Australia. It's gonna be a good one.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
You know what this is about? You seem to have an inkling.
I'm best it's a giraffe that got into some Viagra.
They don't. I mean, maybe it's zoos, but they don't. Giraffes aren't just wandering around Australia.
Oh, I know what this is.
Hey, they ever catch that leopard in Dallas?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Good. They didn't put him down, did they?
I don't think so. I don't know. I just saw that they had caught it.
I think I do know what this animal is.
Yeah, this is in the news a little bit.
I'm tickled. Well, it has a connection to INS lore, so.
Cattle bleepus?
Oh.
Kind of. No, I wish it was.
I hadn't considered that. So this story comes to us from the BBC.
Bad Boys Club.
Been a while.
Toads are not native to Australia. They were first introduced in 1935 and are now one of the country's most damaging pests. And since they have no natural predators, their population is estimated to be in the hundreds of millions. But one cane toad in particular stands above all the other toads, and her name is Toadzilla. Apparently, a park ranger in Queensland was on patrol when she saw what she described as, quote, almost like a football with legs. She and her team quickly captured Toadzilla, which weighed 2.7 kilograms or 6 pounds. In fact, Toadzilla broke the world record for the largest toad ever found, with the previous record of 2.65 kilograms or about 5.84 pounds. The park ranger said Toadzilla likely bulked out on a diet of insects, reptiles, and small mammals, adding, quote, a cane toad that size will eat anything it can fit into its mouth. Unfortunately, Toadzilla was euthanized as required by Australian law, and she will be donated to the Queensland Museum. And I want to show you a little picture here of Toadzilla.
Her name was Toadzilla. That's not a good name. They should. You know what? It's a good name. Is she green?
You're looking at her right now.
I mean,
that's fucking big.
That's big.
She's kind of like brown, but if she was green, they could have called her Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Topical.
Why did they have to euthanize her?
Because they're an invasive species, and that's just the law says. Like, if I remember right, and Brian, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like this is something you would know, but they introduced cattle to Australia, but since they didn't have any insects that broke down the cow dung, it just sat there, and like thousands of square acres or millions of square acres probably just stunk like cow shit. And so they introduced dung beetles to deal with the cattle droppings, but then they had dung beetles everywhere. So then they brought in the toads to eat the dung beetles, but again, the toads had no natural predators. So and they're also slightly poisonous. So they would just wipe out all kinds of native populations and just overpopulate, much like that Simpsons episode where Bart brought his frog to Australia.
Yeah, I think the cane toad it's the classic story of escalating predators to try to control lesser predators. Yeah.
There might have been another animal in there before you even got there to the end there. There was another problem at one point in Australia with rats that are like mice. That's like I've seen where
the grain mice.
Yeah, the grain mice where they're driving around. There's just like millions of them. Just like it's so crazy looking.
They have problems with
everything.
Cats. Like there's something like one cat for every square foot in Australia.
What?
Yeah, they have problems with rabbits as well. Because none of them have any natural predators, so they just take over.
Sounds like food of the gods.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man, that toad is really big.
Yeah. It's Loveland frog size big.
You'd kind of like to see how big it could get. That's a little, but I guess it would just keep breeding. But
they said, the average toad, or cane toads can live to be up to 15 years old, and they don't know how old she was, but they said she was probably pretty old, and that she was 6 times the size of the average cane toad. Look at those leg muscles.
Yeah. That's good eating.
That'd be good. Good with some cornbread.
It's funny too, like only because it's so big that they had to say euthanized. Like any other cane toad, they're like, we squashed it.
Yeah.
Right.
We just fucking killed it. Like, but it's so big, you have to put a pretty word on how they killed it.
So imagine in a place where it's not only legal to kill toads, it's probably encouraged to kill toads.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine the taxidermy displays of toads doing human things they have available to them.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what a delight. What a delight to see like an snorkeling toad or a skydiving toad.
Froggyland would go crazy.
I would want to go through. I'm a little worried about this Toadzilla Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I would hate to see that there was a passport to Australia for the Loveland frog. Loveland frog's a frog, though. These are definitely toads.
Well, if anything, they're enemies. If anything, the Loveland frog is concerned about the growing army of toads in Australia, that this is all where they're mustering for their eventual attempt to take over Ohio, where those Ohioans will probably welcome with open arms. Classic Ohio maneuver.
They won't know they won't know the difference between them and the regular humans there.
You overestimate my kinfolk who just would want to shoot it.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, that would definitely.
Oh, I bet Australians shoot toads all the time.
Probably.
And again, it's just encouraged. That's what you do. But I mean, there is. What else are you going to do? It's like the kudzu killing the trees in the South.
They do call Australia the Ohio of the South Pacific.
Sorry, Australia. To our Australian listeners, I would like to apologize for Kevin's
I can almost
completely out of
assure
line
you
comment.
We will never have an Australian listener on our Patreon, but if we do, welcome, Ohio brother.
Why wouldn't we have an Australian listener?
I bet we will. I want to be very popular in Australia someday.
I want an excuse to go there.
I don't think we've had a listener from Australia this entire year.
Well, they're behind us. They probably haven't had a chance to download it yet.
They're literally a whole year in.
Oh, because they're on the southern hemisphere. It's 2022 there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. I wish they took some video of that fucking toad.
They do, actually. Let me see if I can find it.
Now, you say they're mildly poisonous. Are they mildly poisonous in a hallucinogenic way, or are they just mildly poisonous?
I don't know. I just know that that's part of the...
Here, I'll research that for the listener real quick, because I think that's the question that's outstanding.
I don't think they're the hallucinogenic type. Here's another angle.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Oh, here we go. Oh, there she is in the dirt.
Man, they blend in perfectly.
They put a pen next to her. So that's a pen. She's about... With her legs in, she's about twice the length of a pen.
I've found at least one source that indicates that you can, in fact, smoke cane toad venom.
What, have you been reading the Anarchist Cookbook again, Brian?
No, that
would be a good INS event to smoke cane toad venom.
I'm not gonna smoke. You guys can. I'll be the control group.
What is toad venom? Smoking cane toads are well known for producing a white liquid from their backs. The toads squirt the poison at the predators to protect themselves. When natives first discovered the toad's position, that's probably supposed to be poison, so I'm already distrusting the site.
Yeah.
They used it for medical properties, but mainly to experience euphoria and hallucinations. For someone to smoke cane toad poison, the venom is extracted and burned. The smoke fills a person's lungs, which begins the effects.
Man, I tell you guys what, I think euphoria is a really good feeling.
A controversial opinion, but
it's supposed to be very similar to DMT.
Ooh.
And I don't know if this is there's at one point they're talking cane toad, and this is a website for the listener that is BanyanTreatmentCenter.com. So take that for what it's worth. If they've got that many cane toads and they can get you messed up, then surely Australians are just smoking toad venom all the time, Right?
I mean, look at the big glands on the back of that toad.
Look at the glands on that toad.
It must be one of those drugs though that's like serious but not fun. Like there's got to be like a reason why like
right.
peyote isn't like something that high school kids want to fucking party out with. You know, like it's not. It's like that's like a find yourself and reorganize the meaning of life in your own brain, as opposed to like makes me talk to girls easier.
I thought that was beer.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why beer's the most popular.
Can cause people to have a bad trip. Fascinating.
So any closing words here on Toadzilla?
I like toads. One time when I was a little kid, I killed a toad. And I felt real bad about it, and I've never killed one since. You ever do that? You ever kill an animal when you're a little kid, and you're like, oh, I don't like the way this makes me feel at all.
Yeah.
Shot a bird with a BB gun.
I did that.
Yeah, I was the same. I shot this toad with a BB gun, and I was just like, wow, I feel like shit now.
Right.
This sucks.
It's almost, I remember thinking, I'm probably not going to hit this bird. And that almost, like, I think if I knew 100% I was going to hit the bird, I wouldn't have done it. But I knew there was a good enough chance that I shouldn't have done it anyway. And I think that's what made me feel like shit was that I almost fooled myself or pretended like I wasn't going to do something that I would. Man, it sucks. I had to climb onto a roof to get to it to finish killing it too.
Yeah. But you ate it afterwards, right?
Oh, sure. I used the arrows for the feathers for fletching and the beak for jewelry.
I use the feathers for felching.
What animal did you kill, Kevin? You're the one who hates animals.
What? I don't hate animals. I'm a vegetarian.
Only because you think they're going to try to kill you for all the bad things you've done to them.
Yeah, it's a real atonement thing.
Mm-hmm. Your life of cruelty.
I definitely shot a bird.
Can only be repaid in one way.
I remember once, I did not shoot this, but I was participating, and it easily could have been me. We were shooting my BB gun, and there was a tree frog that kept crawling up this tree, and my cousin pointed out that if you shot right next to the tree frog, then it would fall off, and then it would climb back up. So we were shooting next to it, making it fall off, and then he accidentally shot it. Yeah. But it easily could have been me doing stupid kid shit. Mm-hmm. This is why you don't give your 8-year-old a BB gun. Mm-hmm. Certainly not unsupervised.
But it happens every day.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, tree frogs, I'm a fan of the tree frog. I'm a fan of all frogs, but tree frogs especially.
I like frogs.
Oh, frogs are awesome. That's why the Loveland frog is such a delightful friend of the show.
That's why the Loveland frog wouldn't come out during my recent visit, which I need to edit and post across social media.
Oh, yeah, you do. It needs to get done. And I'm sure, it doesn't help that an Ohioan is assassinating frogs all around its homeland. It's one portal to our dimension, and you're leaving frog carcasses.
Yeah. Don't think that the Loveland frog wouldn't respond to that with aggression in kind.
So that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. Be sure to tell your friends about us now before Mark replaces us with a soundboard controlled by fish. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon, and be sure to check out our subreddit at r/INSpod. We'll see you next week.
See you in hellfish.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.